Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the second webinar of this PDO, Predeparture Orientation Mexico 2021 series. Today, we will talk and emphasize about your responsibilities as an international student in the United States, as an international student living and studying in the United States. To cover this important topic, we have today the collaboration of several Education USA advisors in Mexico. And it's our pleasure to talk about this for your benefit. My name is Marta Beltran. I am Education USA advisor in Mexico City. You who are close to the part will be a Mexican ambassador. If we can go to the next slide. We have said that you have made it to step 5 if you are part of this pre-departure orientation. And as I was saying, now this is the time where you will be, as an international student, an ambassador student, a Mexican ambassador in the US. And we must make compliance one of the values within our own culture, and also at any other country we visit or live in. There is no better ambassador as that one that is a responsible ambassador. In this case, a responsible student. That one who is aware and investigate about his and her rights, but also about everything, all the rules and requirements to comply wherever we are. If we continue to the next slide. Remember that Education USA is planning and organizing and implementing these pre-departure orientations every year for those who have been admitted to an US institution, for the students getting ready to depart to the US. Anyhow, this series of webinars and information that we are gathering and providing to you all is open as well to everyone interested, even if you haven't had an admission at the US program. And if you are interested about these pre-departure orientations, you are welcome to continue joining us in these webinars. We, as Education USA, in these PDOs, gather information and a lot of resources that we consider will be very helpful for you to prepare for your new experiences and develop a lot of skills to adjust to your new challenges. Remember that this is not just a professional and educational experience, but a life experience. In that sense, we are as well collaborating with US higher education institutions representatives. As well, we are collaborating with international students, Mexicans that are already studying their programs and we're sitting as you are today, like starting to prepare everything to get to the US. As well, we have a great collaboration with the consular section, the officials at the visa section, consular section at the US Embassy in Mexico. As well, we don't want to miss the opportunity to emphasize that you should be in touch with your US institution, that one that has admitted you. Check their website. As these pre-departure orientation activities, check everything in the official website of your institution. Find that specialized information for departure, for international students, as well as the welcome orientations that they organize when you are arriving to the US at the institution. Get in touch with the representatives of the universities for any doubt that you may have, and with US alumni, because you will get a lot of valuable information as well from them. Not just for the international students, other Mexicans, perhaps other people from other countries, but also from the local alumni. And also very important to report to your institution and attend those welcome orientations and any other activity that may have for you as international student when you arrive. If we continue today, we will be talking. Well, as well, we want to emphasize that you are welcome here. This hashtag, you are welcome here, is actually to give you not just the idea, but so you know that all the international students are welcome in the US. So they want multiculturalism, and be sure that you are welcome at your US programs in your new experience. The agenda of today, we will be talking about terms and processes, about CBIS, the student exchange visitor status, about employment at the US when you are a student, and about taxes. To start with the agenda of today, we will be talking about a lot of terms that we encourage you to be aware of, and that to get familiarized with all of those terms. As you can see, the US government use a lot of acronyms, so it is very good that you get familiarized with those. So through this process, you have been very close to some of the terms. US, HEI, which is higher education institution in the US. And the other terms is just to give a brief orientation, so to say, in order to continue to the process after you have been admitted. What is the process that you get in during this pre-departure orientation? So you will get a PDF, a list with all these terms, but more terms as well at the end of the webinars. So next Wednesday, June 23, you will get a list with all these terms and more terms that we have been used that will be very valuable for you. DOS is standing for Department of State. DHS is about the Department of Homeland Security. The Department of Homeland Security, the vital mission of this department is to secure the nation. And the next three departments are part of DHS, which is USCIS, CBP, and ICE. You will be in touch with all these departments as you are in the US, because a lot of the the processes that you will do, it will be with those departments. So Department of Homeland Security, USCIS, is about US citizenship and immigration services. CBP is Customs and Border Protection. So when you arrive in the US, the first officers that you will see there are CBP officers at your arrival. ICE is the department, the Federal Law Enforcement Agency, part as well, as I said, of DHS, and is Immigration and Customs Enforcement. And I will not mention all the description that you see on screen, but you can see that all of those are very close to the processes that we'll need to do as non-immigrant students, and all the processes that you will be doing through your time in the US. DSO is Designated Student Officer, and that is a very important person to you. This SEVP is the Student and Exchange Visitor Program. This is a DHS, Department of Homeland Security program. And CBIS is the Student and Exchange Visitor Information System. This is the platform used to monitor and track all activities of international students, so all of you, in the US involved during their time in the US. Now, having this brief orientation on terms, we can continue. Talking about the certificates of eligibility. So you sent your your application to the US institutions. It will be great. It was great that you got your admission. So you got probably an email from the US institution giving you admission, and then you accepted to pursue your studies in that institution and to pursue that program that you chose. And now you will be having these documents. So let's get familiarized with those. Both of these are certificates of eligibility. The I-20 is for non-immigrant student status, F and M status. And the DS 2019 is for the certificate of eligibility for exchange visitor J1 status. Now we will continue. So now you have a visualization of the forms. And let's talk a little bit about some of the uses of these certificates, and also what these documents identifies through the document. So the I-20 and the DS 2019, if you have dependents, they will need to have also this form. So you need to have yours depending on which is your status, FM or J. And if you have any dependent, they will need to have also a certificate of eligibility for themselves. In the case of the I-20, then the dependents will have the F2 or M2. And in the case of the S-2019, it will be dependents J2. In the I-20, you will see through all the information, mainly exactly your non-immigrant student or dependent status, F or M, F1 for you, F2 for your dependent, for example. You will have there the information about your designated student officer, the DSO, the full-time program of study, also which is the institution in the US that you will attend, and the start and the end date mainly. And in the DS 2019, you will find as well your visitor student or dependent status as J, J1 or J2, J2 for dependents. You will find information about your designated sponsor. We will talk more about that in the next slide. And also your visitors program description, a category of exchange, estimate of cost of the exchange program, and also the start and end date. It is very important that you keep really safe these documents because you will need them through all the time that you will be staying in your program or in your exchange visitor program in the US. Some of the uses also that you can find for the I-20, for instance. There are some other uses, as for instance, if you will apply for a driving license or any other process, you will need this document. It's very important, for instance. If we continue with the presentation, now we will talk about the admissions and the US student visa processes. So now that you are familiarized with all these terms, then you got the admissions office sent the acceptance to you. So you got an email, the very nice emails telling you that you are needed. And then after that, they will contact the DSO, and the DSO will create your CVS account in the SEVP. After that, depending on who will be sponsoring your program, then you will get this format. The format will be issued by the DSO, issues an I-20 for F1 or M1 students when you are paying for your studies. In the case of the exchange visitor program, then it will be the DS designated sponsor who will be issuing this format, the DS 2019 J1 student status. And in this case is when the sponsor will be your country who will pay for your program, or the US government who will pay for your program. After you have received this document, you should get the original one. Through the pandemic situation, you get an email. And then after that, with these documents, respectively, you will be able to pay the CVs, the I-901 format. And when you have made this payment as well, then you will be able to continue the process and to apply for your US student visa. If we continue, then we will give you more, I will give you information about some differences between the certificate of eligibility, this document that we have reviewed, with the US student visa. I just want to mention that if you have questions about visas, that will be another webinar next Monday. We will have an officer from the consular section from the US Embassy talking all about your US student visa. So save those questions for that webinar. Now, the differences, the certificate of eligibility, the I-20 that you might have, or the DS 2019, grants permission to legally remain throughout the duration of the program in the US. And the US visa, when you get your US student visa, that will allow you permission to legally enter to the US. So that is why it's so important, as I mentioned, that you keep the I-20 or the DS 2019, the 2019, very safe during the international student cycle. I will just make a summary that will allow you to pay the I-901 format, the CBS fee. That will allow you to apply for a non-immigrant visa. Remember that as a student, you will be non-immigrants in the US. That will allow you to enter to the US. It's a document that you will need to have prepared when you enter the US. That also will give you the chance to change the status, well, in the US, if that is something that applies to you. And well, to apply for other benefits, as I mentioned before, like a driving license, for instance. And well, your US visa will just give you permission to enter to the US.
Excellent, Marta. Thank you very much. And now I would like to hear from our audience. And for that, I'm going to launch a poll to see how much have you learned so far. So if my visa expires on my passport, but my I-20 or DS 2019 is still valid, I am okay to remain in the United States. True or false? We're getting some responses. We're gonna wait a couple of minutes. And once again, thank you very much for joining these sessions. I think it's very important for you that are going to start a program in the United States to keep this information fresh. Okay, so we have 12 people have answered that that is true, and 4 people have answered that that is false. I'm going to share the results with you. What do you think, Marta?
Pavel, can you say the question of the poll again, please?
If my visa expires on my passport, but my I-20 DS 2019 is still valid, I am okay to remain in the United States?
Yes. Yes, we are okay to remain. Remember that in the past slide, we mentioned that your I-20 allows you to remain in the US, and that will mention to you the start and end date. That would be very important, the end date of your I-20. the US visa will just grant permission for you to enter. If that expires in the US, but your I-20 is still valid, you can legally remain in the US. The visa will be useful for you until you go out from the US and want to enter again into the US. Then your US visa needs to be valid again.
Thank you very much for the information. So for all of you that said false, I hope that with Marta's explanation, everything is clear now. And now I would like to move on with Edith from Education USA San Luis Potosí.
Thank you, Mabel. Hello, everyone. As they mentioned, my name is Edith Melendez. I'm the Education USA advisor for San Luis Potosí and Querétaro. And well, now I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what CVIS is. As you listen, as Marta already explained, the CVIS system, that is the Student Exchange Visitor Information System, it's a system that tracks entries and exits from the US. This system was implemented back, let me tell you a little bit of history about the system. It was implemented back in 2003, and it is a way to measure and track all of the information from the different students that are in the United States. Not only for students, also for exchange visitors. And it's a way for the government to know where you are, what you're doing, how your process is going. And it is also a way from the government to make the universities accountable for the status that you are having in the United States. They already invited you, so now they are responsible to report the things that you are doing to this system to help you maintain your status in the United States. Well, I don't know if we can go to the next slide, please. What is this system? As I already mentioned, it tracks the information from you as a student, from you as exchange visitor. You have to work very, very close with your DSO and your institution, and that person is the one that is going to be updating this system. What information do they have to update? Well, they have to tell to the government through the CVIS what is your enrollment during every semester, if you're having any changes in your name or your address, what is the academic progress that you are doing during your living in the United States, where are you studying, what type of classes you're taking, if they are online, if they are in person. All of this information should be submitted through to this CVIS constantly. Why? Because I already mentioned, it's a way for not only for the institution, but for the government to know where you are and what you're doing. It is very important that this system is updated constantly, because it's going to help you to remain as a student in the United States. As you listen, as it was mentioned before, something that is very important to keep in mind is the dates where you have to update this, where your DSO has to update this system. If we can go to the next slide, please. There are two different phases or two different parts where you have to update this information, where you have to be in contact with your DSO. Once is upon arrival. As soon as you arrive to the United States, you have to get in contact with your DSO, and he or she has to update very important information: your local address, all of your contact information, your email, your phone number. You will have to show the visa stamp in your passport and your I-20 or your DS 2019. And this is going to help you to remain in the States without any troubles. Remember that you have to do this as soon as you enter to the United States. And if you're not able to get in contact with your DSO as soon as you enter, you have until the date that is marked in your I-20 to present this information to your DSO for that person to update the CVs. If they don't do that, if you don't get in contact with your DSO and that person is not able to upload and to update this information into CVs, then your I-20 will be canceled. And if that happens, then you're going to be in real trouble. Why? Because it is very difficult to reopen these kind of accounts. Sometimes you will have to create a new account. And in order to do that, you will have to go back to Mexico. You have to leave the country because you will be illegally, you will have no status in the United States if your I-20 is canceled. So that's why it's very important that as soon as you arrive, as soon as you step in the United States, you have to get in contact with your DSO and you have to show and prove all of this information. Your local address, that is where you're going to be living, all of your contact information, email, phone numbers, everything that is going to help to contact you. As I said, your visa and your I-20 or your DS 2019. Remember, as soon as you enter, if not later than the starting date mark in your I-20 or your DS 2019, okay, to avoid any troubles. Then what else you have to do? That is something that you have to do once that you arrive. What's going to happen once that you are already studying in the United States? Can we go to the next slide, please? Well, once that you are already studying, you have to be very careful and you have to remember to report if you're going to travel outside the United States. The list of courses that you're taking, if you're going to take an internship, if you're going to do something extra, you have to report all of that to your DSO. And well, this is something that needs to be reported before you start doing these activities. I mean, let's suppose that it is summer and you want to go on vacation, okay? And you want to visit, I don't know, Canada. So you want to go to Canada, you have to report to your DSO that you're going to be leaving the United States before you leave it, okay? Then he or she will update that information and you will have no trouble, okay? But if you travel and CVS still indicates that you are in the States, once that you come back, you could have some troubles when trying to re-enter in the United States because it's supposed you are already there, okay? So be very careful and you remember that you have to report this information before doing these activities, okay? And then the other part is going to be what you can start doing and then, or what you can do and then report. You have the possibility to report very specific information within the first 10 days of some changes. Which ones? The change of legal name, in case you need to do any legal changes to your name, you have to report that to your DSO. If you change your address in the United States, I don't know, maybe you start your semester by living in campus and then you find a roomie and then you prefer to live with that person very close to the university because it's going to help you to save any cost and to reduce some costs. It's okay, but you have to report that to your DSO. Also, if your address at home in your home country change, if your parents move from one state to another, you have to report that to your DSO too, because that's those are some of the things that you can report once that they have already been done. Okay, no more than 10 days that this happened, but you have to report this. Okay, so you have to be very, very close in contact with your DSO during your whole stay in the United States. remember that even though they are at the university, they are not following you. So you have to go there, you have to visit them, you have to report to them what you're doing for them to keep your CVs updated. And that is gonna help you to keep your student status. And that is very important. As we already mentioned, the visa is only there to help you to enter the country, but the CVs is going to maintain your status as a student, and that status is the one that is going to help you remain legally in the United States. So that's why this is very important. You may say now, nah, that's no problem. I'm gonna have time to visit my DSO once that I'm there once a week. We hope you really have the time, but believe me, you will be really, really busy. You will be doing different activities in your department at the university. You will be having some different activities with your friends, visiting professors, doing homework, doing tasks. You're gonna be very busy, and sometimes we forget to do these kind of things. So make, I don't know, put an alarm in your cell phone, a reminder in your calendar for you to remember to do this reporting to your DSO constantly, as most constantly as you can. Next slide, please. Well, remember, if you have any questions, we will answer them at the end. Go ahead, Mabel.
Thank you. And now I would like to test your knowledge again. How much knowledge have you learned in this presentation? And for that, I would like to ask you what DSO stands for. Option 1, Disability Service Office. Option 2, Designated School Official, or option 3, Decision Support Office. And okay, we have most of you have said Designated School Official, which I'm gonna let Edith said if that is correct or not.
Yeah, that's correct. Great.
Perfect.
Very good that you're following us. Great.
We only have one person that says that is Decision Support Office, but again, hopefully now you have a clear understanding. And remember that this presentation and this session is being recorded, so you can watch it again if you have any doubt about the information that is being presented. And next, I'm gonna let the floor to Jorge Reyes.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jorge Reyes. I am the Education USA advisor for Oaxaca and Guerrero. And I'm going to be talking to you regarding the employment options that you have as an international student. In this case, a Mexican international student. And yes, you can work as an international student and legally if you do so by the law. And remember, as Marta and Edith has said, you have to follow all the rules that your new school will give you. You have to walk by the frame of their instructions and all that. Otherwise, you can compromise yourself in something not as good as you may consider. Okay, yeah. F1 regulations and F1 visa holders, they can work on campus. I mean, you guys, if you are already living for your new academic program in the States, in the United States, you can work up to 20 hours per week during classes and up to 40 hours during vacations. This time may change from university to a university. And some universities may say, okay, you cannot work at the school because we don't have any work for you to do. So in a way, yeah, they are, you cannot work outside the school. Let's say you have an uncle in the state that you are gonna be studying, and your uncle works for a company that, I don't know, cut the grass. in houses, or I don't know, do renovations in houses or something similar to this. Can you work there? No, because the work that you are supposed to be doing must be within the school. Where you can work at the school, well, you can work at the cafeteria, you can work at, I don't know, at the library, you can work, I don't know, you can work maybe if you want to cut grass, you can work cutting grass at your school. And remember, this is all within the legally frame that the university and mostly the immigration services has required from the universities. Remember that immigration considers employment to be a receipt of monetary or non-monetary compensation in exchange for service. Per se, a work, a job. Okay, if you are willing to work, that's because maybe you want some more financial resources in order to support yourself. So employment in campus is a tool that well, not some, many universities have given to international students. And I'm going to talk about another resources considered as job. Can we go to the next slide, please? Okay, maybe you have heard regarding CPT or OPTs. CPT stands for Curricular Practical Training, and OPT stands for Optional Practical Training. These are two resources that you as an international student can use. Remember, these aren't, I'm gonna say this as clear as I can. These aren't job opportunities. These opportunities are chances for you to increase your strength in your curriculum. And once if you are studying already, and in your career once you have finished. But the benefit of this is that you get a stipend. A stipend is a salary or a wage. Okay, there are some requirements in order to apply to this, and remember to follow the instructions of from your university. CPTs are during your academic program, and after 1 year, there could be some updates maybe, and some universities or some programs may require that students select a CPT just before they complete their first year. But this goes from university to university, and within the universities also this goes from program to program. Okay, so yeah, I said that this is an opportunity to increase your strength in your curriculum. But remember, because you're gonna be receiving a salary, you're gonna be receiving money for this. Well, in a way, this is an employment as well. Okay, so a CPT could be an internship, a training for credit, a co-op with a company. And remember, every time that you would like to apply to a CPT, it has to be related to the academic field that you are studying. Let's say you are studying, I don't know, engineering in something. Okay, but you get a job in, I don't know, piling piling pallets from a company. Okay, will that be related to your academic program? I don't think so. But let's say you are in engineering and all of a sudden you receive a job offer to work for a certain company that requires a person with your profile. Okay, you will be completing the requirements of in order to attend or to work in a CPT. And for this, you may have to get a job offer. Uh, in contrast with the OPT, you don't need a job offer. This is quite different. The OPTs are these programs that you could do once you are finished, once you have finished your academic program. Okay, you do not require a job offer. You can look for these opportunities on your own, depending on the availability of the companies that may hire you. And remember, again, it has to be related to your field of study of academic program. Okay, and for the CPTs, you will need to do everything through your school, and then your school may help you to obtain whatever you need in order to start working. For the OPTs, you can start looking for these options within the companies that may interest you, and then with the help of your school, you can also get the permissions to start working with OPT. CPT and OPT, they can last up to 12 months. Let's say you want to make a CPT program and it could last up to 13 months. Can you do it? Yes, you can. But if you go further than 12 months, you lose the chance to apply or to submit your application for an OPT. So will you be able to get an OPT program if you have already spent 13 months or more than that time in a CPT? No, you cannot. Okay. But let's say you only did 6 months of CPT, and then you can start, once you have finished, you want to start an OPT. Can you do it? Yes, you can, because by law, you haven't commit any fault within this frame. Okay. This is a very extensive topic, and I think we may have a webinar just on CPTs and OPTs. But this is remember, these are just the resources that we are just giving you. Okay, can we go to the next one, please? Okay, I don't want to take too much time because we have another interesting topic as soon as I finish. Okay, there is an extension for those that will be studying STEM, that is science, technology, engineering, and math. And yes, you guys can extend your OPT up to 24 months. Again, you have to be aware of the requirements that you need to comply within the company that you want to work with or for, and the help that you may receive from the university. Okay, but yeah, there is a chance of you of getting more time for this optional practical training. Sorry, I always messed up the terms, but yeah. And yeah, can we go to the next one, please? Okay, this is a very interesting topic as well. Why? Because let's say you have a job offer or you want to start working already at your university. As I mentioned it, maybe, I don't know, working at the library, working at the cafeteria, working, I don't know, wherever within the university. Okay, what is the most important thing you need to start working? Well, you need a social security number. Unless you have a social security number, there is no way that you could work legally. And yes, you have to apply. You have to apply for this number with there you can see the web page and all that. I don't know if we can share that through the chat box on here on Zoom. But yeah, but you need to apply, and as soon as you get it, you can start working. Let's say you have your job offer, and then you will receive your social security number, I don't know, in 3 days. Can you start working like right now if you don't have it already? Well, you cannot. You may say, okay, but I already have the job offer. I am ready to go. I only miss this specific number. Yes, you may, but legally, for those 3 days, if you don't have your social security number, you will be working illegally. And that, my friends, it's a fault that you will be committing through the university and to immigration services. And that, of course, will be like a snowball, like growing, and eventually you will be you will be asked to be out of the United States because you did something that you weren't supposed to do. So yeah, so remember, all these you have to keep in mind when you have the desire to start working, either just for a regular job within the university or through a CPT or an OPT. I think we have another slide. Okay, yeah, the social security number. This is a number that the government uses to keep track of the incomes that of the income that you will receive, and also it keeps tracks of the years of employment that you have had while in the United States. And yeah, well, in order to get one, you'll need this is a list of documents that you may need. Enrollment verification letter, which is a letter that you will get once you have get your job offer, okay? Similar as the one below that, the job offer letter, copy of passport, SS, an application, and all that. Remember, you have the great resource of your university and as we have learned, the great help and support of the DSO within your university. As Edith has said, you have to be aware of the services and the time and everything. And remember, you are already in a big step going to the university in the States and all that. And this is, if you want to work, well, you have the chance legally, you can, as I said, you just have to play by the book, you know? So let's do everything in the correct way. And I mean, nothing is rocket science. I mean, you have to just fill out maybe a lot of papers, a bunch of papers perhaps, but still it is a requirement that will be asked for any international student. And remember, if you need extra financial support, well, unemployment could be a great resource for you to have a little extra cash on your pocket. Okay, I think this is my last slide. I don't know, Mabel, I think we have another poll coming.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm gonna test the audience again, and we are launching our last poll. How many hours are you legally allowed to work on campus during the semester? 35, 20, or there is no limit of hours? What do you think? We are starting receiving some answers, and we have, everyone has said 20 hours per week. Jorge?
Great. Thank you for paying attention though.
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah. Just remember, you
Thank
can
you.
work up to 20 hours during your semester and up to 40 hours on vacations. Again, this will be under the requirements of the university. So just be familiar with the standards and the regulations of your university.
Yes, thank you very much. And now, I'm gonna give the floor to Elvira Castillo.
Thank you, Mabel. So the title of my presentation is a 5-minute introduction to U.S. taxes. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time explaining this very important topic, but I will give you some pointers that you will need to take in consideration for your stay in the United States as a student. So I'm going to start by telling you that yes, you must file U.S. taxes. And there is a difference between filing and paying taxes. Filing means that you need to submit a form to the IRS. The IRS is the Internal Revenue Service. But if you have income, you may have to pay taxes. So very quickly, I'm going to explain that this is required by law. You have to file a federal income tax return. Also, depending in the state that you will be studying, some states also require to file a state income tax return at the same time. If you don't have a job, if you don't have any income, you didn't have a participation in a CPT, OPT, internship program, and there is no employment, no income, then you will have to file this form, that is the form 8843, and you don't have to memorize that. I'm not going to do a poll at the end, but it's just for your information that this form needs to be filed if you didn't have any income at all. But if you have an internship or you have an employer or you participated in a CPT or an OPT program, then you will have income. And you will get this form that is called the W-2 form, where all the money that was paid to you will be in this format. And you will need this format to file your taxes. There is also a form that is called the 1040-NR, non-residents, that you will need if you have income. Having income doesn't mean that you have to pay taxes. You have to report that income, and after doing some mathematical formulas and looking what are the taxes that you already pay that are going to show in your W-2 form, that's the possibility. There are three possibilities: that you don't have to pay anything, that you may have to pay anything, or that you can have also a payment to you, a check that you will be getting if you pay more taxes that you needed to pay. But you will have to file this format. So if you have a scholarship, what happens with that scholarship? And a scholarship that covers tuition and fees for your studies is not taxable. You don't have to pay taxes for those scholarships. However, if there are scholarships that covers living expenses, books, or some stipends, that is considered as income. So that will be taxed. So scholarship money is considered as income, and there is 14% of that money that you will have to pay for your taxes. Some scholarships will deduct this money, so you will be paying taxes while you are receiving your scholarships. So when you file your taxes, you don't have to pay that money. But it may be that you will receive all your money, that taxes are not deducted, and you will have to pay this money. Some universities that offer sports or talent-based scholarships or fellowships may deduct that money or may pay for that money, so you don't have to pay the taxes. However, you still will have to file your taxes. Some important things to remember. Taxes are due on April 15. For the last 2 years and due to the COVID-19, the April 15 date was extended. We don't know for next year. Maybe it's going to be a regular year now that everything is getting back to normal. So every year in the United States, April 15 is the day of filing your taxes, the deadline, the last day that you can file your taxes. Something important to remember, you can get help from your institution. You are not going to be alone in this process. It is expected from many universities that they will offer workshops or some help to file your taxes. They will give you information. Some universities will have some tutorial videos or some software that you can use to file your taxes. But you need to be aware of this information. So you are, when you receive this information, you know what is this about, and you have to be looking forward to receive and review and get educated. Also, there is some tax consultants and online programs that can help in this process. But it's your responsibility to inform yourself in advance. And something very important is that you budget carefully. So if you will have to pay taxes, you have that money to pay those taxes when the time comes. And keep track of your calendar. Something very important is that you are going to start your studies in the fall 2021. So you will have to pay taxes next April from the time that you arrive, or you're filing from the time that you arrive until December. So the calendar year for taxes, same as in Mexico, the calendar year is January 1st to December 31st. So if you started your studies in the fall, the first time that you are going to file your taxes will be April of the next year, and it will be considered the time from September or August that you started your studies until December of this year. And if you are going to start another semester in January or February, and you are going to be only for one semester, then you will have to pay taxes the next year. So you have to keep that information in mind. So I promise it was going to be a 5-minute introduction, and I hope, yeah, just sharing some additional resources here. And something I also want to, I'm going to finish my introduction to taxes. I'm going to share with you what happens, what are the consequences of not filing your taxes, even if you don't have to pay. So filing a tax return is required by law. It's one of the conditions of your visa. You have to comply with US law. It doesn't matter that you don't know, it doesn't matter that you are international student or Mexican, is your responsibility. If you owe taxes and don't pay, the IRS can assess penalties, they can charge interest, they can seize your US bank account for repayment. There could be fines and penalties, and it will be more than the amount of the original tax debt. So as Jorge said, and as Edith says, and Marta says, just be aware of all these responsibilities that you have as international students. And with that, I'm going to give the floor to Mabel and Vianney. We have about 5 minutes for questions.
Yes, thank you, Elvira. And actually, I'm gonna give the floor to Vianney to see if we have questions from the audience, either on Facebook or on Zoom.
We do. Hello, everyone. I'm Vianney. I'm the advisor from Hermosillo, Sonora. Welcome. So I'm gonna start with the questions. First one is, should I always carry the documents with me? I mean, talking about SEVIS and I-20, or that it's not necessary?
Talking about the I-20, it is recommendable that you make a copy and bring it with you. And if there is any other comment from the team, yeah, make a copy. Also, it's recommendable that you make a copy, like electronic copy and a physical copy, and leave it at home in Mexico as well. And the other copy, bring it with you.
Thank you. Okay, next is from STEM OPT. So it says, it lasts 24 months or 36 months in total?
No, 24 months. I mean, you can start your OPT and do 12 months and then go for another 12 months.
Perfect. Next question. So I gotta say, I'm very proud that students are using the terminology. So I'm gonna read it as they wrote it, okay? Say, do all PhD students have to get ISSN if they are funded as a TA or RA?
Okay, remember, what immigration considers to be a job is an activity that you will be paid for. So if you are gonna get paid, I mean, through a check, through a cash or whatever, yes, you need an SSN number. Why? Because at the end, as Elvira said, you have to fill out this tax form and all that. And remember, you have to play by the book. So yes, if you're gonna get any money for any activity, either if you are a master's student or a PhD student or whatever, yes, you need an SSN number.
Perfect, thank you. And last question is it true that once I arrive to the US as an international student, I have to wait 6 months to legally start to work?
Okay, I think I don't have that the right answer. I don't think you may need to wait 6 months, but remember, since it's gonna be your first contact with the university and all that, my suggestion, unless there's something I don't know, another opinion from the team, will be to get familiar first of all with the system in the States, and then familiar with the job opportunities that the university may offer you. And yeah, if if you want to start a CPT during the first 6 months, unless your program, your academic program allows it, you may. But remember, will be more standardized in a way that you may need to finish your first year of education and then apply for a CPT. I don't know if someone from the team has another opinion, or I don't know.
I would just like to add that CPTs and OPTs, they have a lot of rules. So CPTs, you cannot start an CPT when you arrive to the United States, or an OPT, you need to finish your program. They have specific rules. However, there are also employment at the campus, and that's not CPT, that's not OPT, it's employment in the campus. I am not aware of a 6-month waiting period. And as Jorge said, I am not sure about that, but I haven't heard about a 6-month waiting period. So if we have this information and we find out that yes, there is a 6-month information, we will send that to you in an email. So so you can have that answer correct.
I just want to add, if I can, that yes, as Elvira mentioned, for the work for the jobs on campus, you don't have to wait that long, because when I was there, I started working 2 weeks after I arrived in the United States when I did my master's there. So you don't have to really wait 6 months for the jobs on campus. For the CPT and OPT, as far as I know, for the CPT and OPT, I strongly suggest that you watch the other sessions that we have about those topics, because the information will be clearer for you, and they have, as Elvira said, specific rules.
Perfect, thank you so much. One more question. It says, the changes in the information of Masevis, it's always done through my DSO, correct?
That's correct. You have to always reach your DSO, and then that person is the one that is going to update your CDS account. Okay, that's a system where you have no authorization to modify. You cannot enter into that system, only your DSO. So that's why it's very important that you always keep in contact with him or her.
Perfect, thank you so much. That's the last question. Marta,
yes. Yes, I know. And last, I just want to say thank you. Thank you very much for attending this session. Hopefully you will have a broader understanding now on which are your responsibilities as an international student. It's good that you have this information on mind, but also know that there will be people on campus that will help you through this whole process. So you will not be along all of the way, and you can always reach out to Education USA if you have any concern. Also, please remember that this is the second session of a series of information sessions about everything that you have to know before you go and start your program in the US. We will have two more webinars and 2 more sessions on Instagram. So please join us on June 21 to know all about your student visa. That will be next Monday. Next Wednesday, we will have your student life in the United States. And starting July, we will have 2 Instagram Live where we are going to talk with Mexican students that are currently undergraduate and graduate students in the US. And it's better if you hear from people that is studying there what they have gone through during this amazing experience of studying the US. So thank you very much for everyone to be here. And can we go to the next one? Don't forget to register bit.ly PDOMX 2021. And yes, can we go to the next one? Elvira? Again, thank you very much. And please follow us on social media. We will have everything that you need to know now and before, if you know someone that is excited to go to the United States or everything related to study in the US, we're gonna be here for you. Thank you very much to everyone and see you next Monday.